Hello everyone, I am Rikita. For this session, we will going to discuss Unit 2 Control and Coordination of chapter Types of Response in Organism. So in this session, we will going to learn what are the major type of response in an organism. Let's study reflex action, natural and conditioned reflexes, voluntary and involuntary responses. So let's start. Organism responds to stimuli. We know what is a stimulus. In previous session, we discussed about the stimulus. So stimulus is any kind of external change upon which humans respond or a living being react. So organism respond to stimuli to maintain homeostasis. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis, it's a kind of a process, biological process. Body have ability to maintain its optimum condition, pH, temperatures, everything, that is homeostasis for its survival. So responses are classified based on control and conscious involvement. Yes. So let's discuss about the kind of action. First one is reflex action, already discussed, but again, second is voluntary responses, and third is involuntary responses. Let's do one by one. So come with first reflex action. We know and reflex action and automatic rapid. It's automatic quickly, or we can say rapidly action, involuntary response to a stimulus. So controlled by spinal cord, we already discussed. Reflex action is controlled by the spinal cord or lower brain center for purpose to protect and quick reaction. Come on the type of reflex action. There are two type of reflex action. First is natural, or we can say unconditioned reflex. In this reflex, it's present in born since birth. Example, knee jerk reflex, blinking of eye, withdrawal from heat. These are the natural kind of reflex action. Whereas conditioned reflex action are those action which we learn through experiences or training, involve association with the specific stimulus. For example, Pavlov dog salivating on hearing a bell. So it's an amazing experiment done by Ivan Pavlov dog experiment. So Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist, did an experiment basically on dogs. So what he did, dogs salivated not only when they saw food, but also when they saw the lab assistant who fed them on even heard footstep. So let's discuss about this amazing, wonderful experiment. What he did, he set a experiment, take some dogs, and he established a wealth condition. So the condition one, he rang a bell, the dog did not salivate, neutral response. He showed food, the dog salivated, natural response. So now, what he did, he rang the bell and then gave the food repeatedly. After some time, he noticed that he rang the bell alone and the dog still salivated, expecting food. So, this is something which dogs learned. So, it comes from learning, experience, and training. Now, let's see the example of natural, or we can say innate reflex. These are automatic inborn, present with an inborn responses to stimuli. Example, withdrawal reflex like pulling your hand back quickly after touching something hot. Knee jerk reflex when the patellar tendon is tapped, the legs kick forward. Blinking reflex, blinking when an object suddenly come near your eye. You feel in your daily life. So these all are the natural reflex. Come on, the second thing, conditioned. These are learned responses from by association. We discussed just Pavlov dog experiment. So a dog salivates at the sound of a bell after learning that the bell means food is coming. Exam anxiety, yes, feeling nervous, physical response when entering an exam hall because of past experience or exposures. Come on, the reflex arc. What is reflex arc? So it's a pathway, how impulse or signal travel. So first stimulus, then stimulus sensed by the receptors, then receptors send these impulse or signal through sensory neurons send the signal to spinal cord integration center, make decisions, and again send the signal motor neuron, and finally the factor it may be a muscle or a gland, then response will be generated. Let's see. So first, this is a heat. Follow the blue line. Receptor sense the heat. It sends by the help of the motor neuron, sends to spinal cord. Spinal cord are the commanding decision making center. Follow the red line, then decision generated sends to the efferent neuron, or we can say motor neuron. Both are the same thing. Then motor neuron sends the signal to the muscle effect and effector, and response will be generated. Now come on the voluntary response. Action performed under conscious control. We know what we are going to do. So, conscious control, controlled by the cerebrum. Yes, we already discussed about the part of the brain where we deal about cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. Cerebrum of the brain can be initiated or stopped at will. So it's all story about will. So if I want to read, I read. If I want to write, I write. So it's under my control. So those actions which under our control, that is voluntary response. All the voluntary response generated by the cerebrum part of the brain. It work all related to the will part. Examples: writing, walking, speaking, throwing a ball, etc. Come on the another response, involuntary, or we can say non-voluntary responses. These are the automatic responses that occur without consciousness. So I am sitting at my chair, I am not even think now it's time to take a breath, it's time to release the hormone from my glands. No, it's an automatic action controlled by the autonomic nervous system, ANS, which is a part of peripheral nervous system we discussed already. Example: heartbeat, breathing, digestion, pupil contraction, and bright light. Importance of these responses. So reflex help in quick, it's help in protection from any harm. Voluntary response allow interaction with environment. Involuntary response maintain vital bodily function automatically, even we don't think it. Come on, let's summarize each on everything. Feature is controlled, reflex action. So reflex action controlled by the spinal cord and brainstem. So brainstem is the, like, it's it is the lowest part of the brain. It's connect the brain with spinal cord. Voluntary action, the voluntary response controlled by cerebrum. Involuntary response controlled by the autonomic nervous system. Conscious involvement in reflex action? No. We don't consciously involve. No. Voluntary for yes. Involuntary, it's no. Speed. Reflex actions are very quick and fast, very fast. Voluntary are slow. Involuntary are fast. Example, let's say reflex action example is blinking, knee jerk, etc. Whereas voluntary response, writing, speaking, etc. Involuntary response, heartbeat, digestion. This is involuntary. Let's do some question. Which part of the nervous system control reflex action? So spinal cord. Salivation on seeing food is an example of conditioned and learned through experiences. Let's summarize all of this. Reflex are automatic, natural. It's have two types, natural and conditioned. Voluntary responses are conscious and controlled by the brain, cerebrum. Involuntary responses are automatic, controlled by ANS. Together, they allow organism to survive and adapt to the environment. This is it for today class. Meet you in the next class with amazing super duper topic. Bye.